And better than me at 10 years.
Hey, you're not 10 years yet, so you can't say that.
I don't know.
Pretty dang close. Are you? Is it really been 10 years? Man,
It's pretty close.
have we been putting up with each other for 10 years?
It's probably more like you've been putting up with me for 10 years.
No, it can't be 10 years yet, because
When,
I'm at like 14 and a half. Oh, maybe it is 10 years.
because I was one of Steve's Tai Chi students for 7 months.
That's right.
And then he convinced me to come to classes, and I've been here ever since.
No.
Wait, so you don't look like
He's 65, but he doesn't show it.
Yeah.
The sea lion.
I'm being a smart guy. Alex was very brutally honest with me.
Yes.
I came in after my tattoo, and I almost ended on, and he said, what happened? I said, well, I wanted 2 extra inches on my left arm. And then after that, he said, I'm a liberal kind of guy, so.
Good. Well, I am a literal jerk sometimes. But I promise that it's because I want you to do really, really well. So, I've got this deal. Okay, so I'm gonna make the deal with you. I wanna know, do you want to be successful? Are you here to be successful, or are you here because it's fun? Both are correct answers. Okay, then I'm gonna be super hard on you. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be mean, it means I'm gonna be very strict with you. And that is purely because I want you to be successful. And as long as you keep wanting to be successful, and you do what we tell you to, you're going to be successful, promise. Hard promise, like, you can take my black belt if it doesn't work. If your life doesn't get better, but you follow what we told you to do, strictly, then you can just have my black belt. Be like,
He's not just talking about you, he's talking about all of us.
yes, that is correct.
Not just you, all of us. So we're all in the same boat.
See, Ariel beat me to that conversation because in her interview for starting classes, she said, I want somebody to be super strict with me. And I was like,
All right, well, that gets rid of my whole fun speech, but all right.
I'm like,
You took all the way down to sales right away.
Yeah,
Here's
well,
the
we're
right.
gonna defend.
That's right. Oh, we got the full crash course women's self-defense course built out while we were there too.
Great.
And that's again a strict methodology. It's a repeatable, running like a class kind of thing. So that'll be more, and you'll enjoy that because it is super fast, down and dirty, get it done now kind of stuff. And I'll put it to you this way, it is a lot like eating ramen noodles. It will keep you from starving. It is not something to base your whole diet on. But if you're not interested in martial arts for the long term, and you just want something to keep you from starving, it's a really good place to start. And you can use ramen noodles as a base for a lot of other dishes that are a lot better for you. Okay, so when it comes to the martial, there's 5 things. Physical skills, we're not talking about character right now, we're not talking about philosophy, we're not talking about the mental aspects, clarity and focus. Right now what we're talking about are the physical skills that you need to have to be able to apply all the really cool concepts and techniques and strategies that you're gonna learn in CMOD. Okay. This is just my list, sort of. It goes first, stances, okay? You have to have excellent stances. If your stances are bad, everything you do will be bad. You will be thoroughly limited, I should say, by your stances. So if you want to be able to go to 100, your stances have to be able to go to 100. Even if your hands are quick and you're fast and you're strong and you're smart and you have great strategy, if you don't have stances that can support it, you will not be able to achieve it. Okay, so stances. Striking. Pretty straightforward. For martial art, you're going to punch some people, right? It's going to happen. You got to do it right. Okay? Blocking. People in martial arts will try to punch you also, right? We need to make sure they don't. Okay? Kicking.
Because not only do we have short range weapons, we have long range weapons. One of the biggest things you see is people get in their head what they see on TV, right? Which is boxing from fun camera angles, and then one sweet side kick to the face and a full post. You're gonna be better than that, right? You're gonna have a lot of tools at your disposal. Case of kicking, all right? How many do we have so far? What was the first one? Good, stances. What was the second one? Good, third one? Locks, fourth one? Was that?
I said locks.
No, locks next. What was the last one you just said? Yeah, kicking, perfect. And the last one is launching, right? Stepping. Okay. If you can't do these things well, no matter how smart and how many good strategies and how perfectly you understand the concepts, you're not going to do well when it comes time to use what you've got. So, that being said, we can still build strategies and concepts while we do these things, but I want to take it way back and just do a quick review of how to fix. And this is something you should actually practice a lot, not just go, oh, that's how it's done, and then not do it. You should work on practice making that fist over and over again, right? Our methodology goes slow and correct, build the flexibility to do it, so you can go quickly, safely, then you can worry about power. The simple way to say that is correct, quick, power. Okay. So, making a fist. Step one, fold your fingers in. Okay. Keep them pulled back as far as you can. And not like this, that's gonna let air into your fist. So really stretch that hand back. You wanna pin your fingertips right to the base of your hand and fold your hand. Okay? A lot of people think about crunching a fist. If you grab a fist, you leave a ton of empty space in that fist. What you wanna do is think about folding a fist, right? So fold your fingers, fold your hand. Then all you're gonna do is, what we're gonna thumb? Now we're gonna fold that thumb, right? Okay, because if you think about folding your thumb, it'll go to the right place. If you think about grabbing or tucking, right? This is always what happens when I say tuck your thumb to people, right? Or I say bend your thumb and go out knees, right? We want to fold our fist, okay? So just like making an origami, we want to make it tight. So fold that fist nice and tight. Okay, so you have a fist. Great. There's about 1 million different striking surfaces on a fist, right? The big ones that we're going to focus on right now, we're going to talk about the big three. They're going to be your two knuckles right here. Okay, if you look, those two run perfectly in line with these bones. If you look at your pinky knuckle and your ring finger knuckle, those ones run at a diagonal angle. Okay, that's why people break them often when they punch. Don't do that, punch with these knuckles. Okay, better take the time to learn how to do it correctly and not have broken hand, right? Now, we also have the hammer part, right? Or this base part of our fist, okay? So there's all kinds of directions you can use, 8 specific directions that you can use with this tool, right? If you grab a fist, this muscle is soft, and if you hit anything with it, you're just gonna hit them with the little bones in your hand. It does not feel good. In fact, I know many friends who have broken small bones in their hand because they didn't get a good fist. So again, let's fold our fist up correctly, nice and tight. If you press here, you should not be able to push down through to your bone. All right, so if we're pushing right here, you should not be able to feel your bone. Okay? If you can feel your bone, you need to tighten your pinky up. Good. All right. And the third surface we're going to talk about is the back of the fist here. Right? That does not mean the entirety of the back of the fist. Right? The more surface area you strike with, the less effective that strike is. Okay? So we're talking right along this ridge here, right? Right, those kind of same two knuckles, just closer to the back. So when you look at that, that means you have a front punch, right? Using these two knuckles, right? You have a back fist, right? And again, we're focusing on these two knuckles, right? So your hand position should reflect that. If I'm like this, okay, I didn't actually strike with those knuckles, I struck with the back of my hand. And you'll get that through a little bit of experience. Curve that wrist just a touch, and don't fully extend your elbow, then you'll be making good contact, right, with those knuckles. That's where it's safest to strike with. And third, you're using that hammer fist, right? It's coming in from the side, from the back, from the top. It's a great tool because if you hit something hard with it, it's probably not going to break you. Okay? I don't recommend punching somebody in the forehead with your fist because would you willingly punch a bowling ball? Personally, I do not willingly punch bowling balls because I like my knuckles working. Can I? Sure. Should I? No. Okay, if you had to hit a bowling ball, Alex, you have to hit it as hard as you can. How would you choose to hit a bowling ball? You have a broken hand. Okay. How would you choose to hit a bowling ball? You can hit it any way you want. Okay, so like that, that's definitely a good answer. My personal answer, if I had to hit it and really try to not break myself, I'd probably slap it. Right? Softest thing I have on my hand is my palm, and it's hitting a super hard target, so soft to hard. Right? So that's another type of strike, is a palm strike. Oh, that works fantastic. If you're striking a hard target. Okay, the face, generally considered a hard target. Okay? If you're striking a soft target on the other hand, right? If I slap John in the belly, it's not going to feel great, right? But it's also not going to damage John, right? Unless you know some super secret energy flash technique that I don't. And if you do, don't hold out, little brother out. Okay. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take the hardest tools we have at our disposal and go through the soft targets, right? So if we're striking a hard target, what do we use? Anything soft, right? Get that big muscle in the way, great. Some people are really fancy and they like to squeeze their hand like this and push this muscle out and strike like that. Great. I have friends who can break pieces of steel like that. It's awesome. It hurts every time I break a steel file that way, which is why you don't catch me trying to strike people with it. It doesn't work for me, it works for them. So all you're getting right now is the concept. If it's a hard target, use a soft tool. And if it's a soft target, use a hard tool. Okay, same thing applies with our feet, right? The way we make a fist, right, applies to our feet in reverse. We need to unfold our feet. Okay? What that looks like is just pulling your toes back. That's all it is. That's unfolding the foot, right? This would be folding the foot. So we want to unfold the foot. That's all it takes. Really good game you can do. Put a ball or a rock on the back of your foot and swing that rock around. If you do that long enough, you'll kick really well every time. It's a fun game we're actually going to play with the adults later on.
Okay.
Maybe double more time.
Okay.
So is everybody comfortable with the idea of how we need to strike, whether we're using our hand or our foot? Okay. There's a lot of different ways to strike with our foot, just as many as with our hands. The one we're going to look at today, right, all we're looking at is a front kick. Okay? And that front kick means when we chamber, right, our toe should already be up, right? We should have already unfolded that foot, right? When we extend, it has to stay unfolded. What happens a lot is people pull it back here, and when they kick, relax their toes, generally for flexibility, right? And they smash their toes into stuff. Ask Mr. Cameron what smashed toes look like. He can bend all of his toes all the way backwards. Many times. Please don't do that. You don't have to do that. If you have trouble lifting your toes like this, really easy exercise is walk around on your toes like this. Don't let your heels drop, right? It's kind of like walking in high heels, right? Or ballet. Oh, ballet is so much harder than this. No. Point, no. Don't do that. That would be like if you folded your toes that way and then tried to walk.
It's very unnatural.
Yeah, it's,
You're standing on a lip.
Well, I can.
yeah, no, don't do that. Yeah, Laros is also like your size and weight. And I still wouldn't do it. No, this is what you want, because this foot position is the exact same foot position you want to strike with. Okay? Now you can pull your foot all the way back and use your heel, right? So your whole foot doesn't even touch. If you watch, the foot doesn't touch, it's just that kind of shotgun barrel of the heel. Right now, I want you to work on catching with the toe, right? Because it's gonna give you a little extra penetration to your strike. We're not striking the bag right now, still on broken feet, okay? But that's what you're gunning for. It can be super high, it can be low. Most practical kicking occurs below your own waist. That doesn't mean that if you see the opportunity to throw a chin kick and knock somebody out, that it's impractical. It just means it's not common, right? Most common ways that it's safe to kick happen down here, right? Because if you're pushing me, yeah, watch pushing. And I try and kick you in the face, oh, I'm going backwards, right? But if you're pushing me, I'm kicking you in the shin. Yeah, it doesn't feel good for you and it keeps me safe. Right, so these are just things to have in the back of your head. Now we get to the fun part. Because I can trust, so I can be strict now, right? Everybody knows how to make a fist. I'm not gonna be strict until you know how to do it. Good, good. Everybody knows how to pull their toes? Excellent. Good, all right. Everybody knows chamber, that's the last question. Good, so chamber is just where you pull it close to your body, it's where you start and where you end, right? Okay. If your retraction is slow, your kick is slow. And that's okay, because we're working on slow right now. We're gonna leave kicks. This is just to show you how a simple drill actually holds a lot of things you have to be good at. Okay, so take kicks and punches, put them on a shelf for a second. Are they shelved? Make sure you can find them, okay? So we're gonna pop over to the side of the mat. We're gonna do some simple Lanka, right? Some simple footwork. But to achieve a Lanka, what do we need? We need stances, right?
Mm-hmm.
We de facto have to have somewhere we're going. Kind of like the flying a plane and you're landing, except there's no runway. Not ideal. So we need to have somewhere we're trying to get to. That's our stance. And just think of your stance as your landing zone. We're gonna start with high stances. A high stance is knees lined up with shoulders. That's it. Nothing more than that. Now you can do a high stance with your knees super bent, right? Just like you can do a low stance with your legs straight. It doesn't make either of them good stances, right? It just means that they're high or low. So how do we know a high stance?
Shoulder width apart.
What is shoulder width apart? Knees. So the base of our femur, if you want to get really technical, is the same width as the end of our shoulder bones. Cool? There's an easy way to count that out without having to think, where are my shoulders? You start with your feet together, turn them out, and straighten up. Your knees will be at shoulder width. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's 2 foot things, right? 2 foot shuffles puts you at shoulder width. And if you want to be at 1.5 shoulders, add a foot shuffle. If you want to be at 2 shoulders, add a second foot shuffle. And you're at low stance. Subtract 1, what would that put us? Right between high and low.
Medium.
Medium, that is what is between high and low stance. Good. I promise I do not have clever tricks. They're pretty straightforward. Shout them out when you think about the answer. So high stance is what we're going to be using right now. 5 main stances, 5 main stances. Forward weighted stance, front stance. Backwards weighted stance, back stance, right? Even weighted stance, horse stance, monkey stance, 50-50 stance, there's a million names. Probably gonna hear horse stance come out of my mouth more often than not, okay? Then you have crescent stance, right? Where your legs look like they're in a crescent. And you have pregnant woman or bridge stance, right? Which is where your toes are facing 2 opposite directions. Pulls your hips open. So, fun fact, Alex, this is how women used to give birth, standing upright.
Why would people give birth?
Why would they?
Yeah.
Well, so gravity is a thing. Yeah,
Yeah, but you're gonna drop a baby on the head.
you ever heard about catching a baby? That's where that comes from. Yeah, you don't catch a baby
But does
when,
the woman catch the baby or does the
no,
dad
you
catch the baby?
have friends for that.
Like,
You definitely need friends for
Like,
that.
does the dad just like swoop in, catch it, or
I mean, yeah, if you just hang out there for baseball, look. If you want to know more about it, I will teach you more about it. Not right now. Okay. Those are your 5 main stances. You also have your overcommitted stances or your fully committed stances, right? Which would be like a running stance, okay, or a cat stance. Okay, that's where there's 0 weight on one of your legs. So you can think about it as all strong or 1 full, 1 empty. So I'm in a back stance right now, right? But I am all full, right? Both of my legs have power, okay? If I go to a cat stance, one of my legs has power and one of my legs is completely empty, right? So full and empty or all strong will be terminology you are likely to hear. Good? Making sense so far? I know I'm probably belaboring points you've heard already, but you're gonna get belabored on them many times. There's only belabored. You hear they challenged
Yes, I did.
Tom Cruise to an MMA fight? I would absolutely pay money to watch that.
I would too.
I would pay money to watch Tom Cruise beat up Justin Bieber, right? I've had we have a viewing party here. That's right. All right, so front stance. Make it a high front stance. Your knee should be about shoulder width apart. Your weight should be on your front leg. Make sure you can't see your front toe. I'm being pretty lenient with the stances today. I'm not getting into we're not holding them right now to set them in our muscle memory. So I'm not gonna go through and be literally with a yardstick, making sure that your knee is at the right angle and all that. Don't worry about that right now. That is something we're going to do though. Okay, so that's front stance. Okay, pretty easy. Good. Horse stance or monkey stance. Good. Pretty easy. Awesome. I will throw this out here for your stances. Have you guys already done any of the like Pilates type work when you're pulling your belly button in and keeping your lower back flat? And you had to lay on your back and keep your knees at a 90-degree angle?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's dial back in here further. Lay on your back, bend your knees at a 90-degree angle. Force your lower back flat to the ground and suck in your belly button. Yep, so there should be, like, you should not be able to roll a max watch car underneath your back. Good. Get that back flat. Good. Good. All right, go ahead and stand up. So the awesome thing about that Pilates exercise, because that's absolutely where I stole that from, is that if you do that vertical instead of horizontal, it's a perfect twist stance. Right, so your pelvis is rolled forward, your core muscles are activated, your shoulders are forward and relaxed. Okay, so what we don't want is this. Okay, this means that right about here, we lose the power from our stance. So if we think about our hips like a bowl, you want to tilt that bowl so that it's flat. Excuse me, G. Good. All right, good. And I want you to straighten your back a little bit. Think about lifting your chest. There, feel how that took this tension out of your neck? Stand like that all the time. Okay, here's what we got going on right now. You kind of pitch forward. So what I want you to do is push your knees forward until you're able to kind of stand up a little bit more relaxed. So you do have pretty big arch right now. If you look at your pelvic bowl, if it was full of water, it would be spilling forward, right? So what we want to do is tilt that. Yeah, there you go. Right, you want to, Daniel used to call it getting your Elvis on, right? You have to roll your pelvic bowl forward. Cool, so when we do stances, again, I'm not trying to get into, we will really build these in so that you are technical masters of every one of these stances. Right now, roughly straight back, weight 50-50, roughly straight back, weight forward. You got your front and your horse stance. Good? Cool. Shell stances right there next to punches and kicks for me. Joe, got access to them? Awesome. Next thing on the workbench, okay, Lanka. Okay? Yes, stepping. So Lanka means stepping, and it's a pattern. I'm going with a medium difficult pattern for this drill. Okay? Say medium difficult. You guys will think it's super easy until you really dig into the nuances of it, and then you'll be like, shut up, Jason, let me practice. So, we're starting horizontal, then we're stepping on a 45. Okay, so we all turn bladed to the mirror. So blading is when we put the narrow part of our body towards the mirror, right, or towards our body. So we're starting from here, and all we're going to do is step here. Okay, now our front sides. Alright, so we're bladed, then we're not bladed. Bladed, not bladed. If you think about the trick to learning your footwork, kind of comes from the ability to think three-dimensionally with geometry. And here's what I mean. You make it really easy. Did you guys ever play with those light bright toys as a kid? You put the little clear plastic beads in and you hit the button and it makes a picture? You ever play with that?
The 90s thing, I think.
Wait,
You know, you put the little colored like pegs on the board.
Oh, yeah.
Line it up.
Oh, press the button and it makes a picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, every time. Thank you. That was a good explanation of that. I'm like, you know, the thing with the stuff that you do the thing with. It's amazing that I exist. And obviously in life. Everywhere you put your foot is a peg. Okay, so we're drawing pictures. So we're turned sideways. We have two pegs in the board right now, right? We're going to add a third peg over here. When we turn that box on, what shape did we draw? Triangle, right? We got three. If we only have the three pegs, right? Only where our feet actually sit, where they stop, are going to be our points. So we have 2 points. We have a third point. We've got a triangle, right? So awesome. Okay, so this is a type of triangle stepping that we're doing. So we start from here. Step. Start from here. Step. Start from here. Step. Good. All right. Got Lanka? Okay. Shelve it for me. Okay. Is it next to everything else?
Yes, sir.
Easily reachable?
Yes, sir.
Good. Don't shove it too far back. I want you guys to have nice, clean, organizational systems in your head. This is, when I tell you to shelve something, I really want you to picture that you have an empty desk inside a room with infinite shelving in your head, and you take that item that we were just talking about or working on and put it on the shelf. These shelves you have are magic, all right? They will take it as far away where you don't have to look at it until you say, I want this thing. That shelf will bring it to the front for you, right where you're reaching every time. I need you to build that image in your head. This is a method that people use to develop things like photographic memory and things like that. Okay? So start actually doing it. Like use your imagination and do it every time. So you should have a blank work desk in front of you right now. Okay? You got a couple of things easy to reach on the shelf. So we've covered striking, kicking, stepping, and stances.
Okay.
All right? Okay, what's the one thing we have left? Blocking. We already did kicking, right?
Oh, right.
All right, we went over how to kick, we went over how to punch, all right? We went over how to do a stance, we went over how to do a step. Okay, so last thing on our list is blocking. All right, we're going over a lot of stuff. Okay, the block I'm going to teach you might seem a little different than what you think of as a block. Okay, it's very hard. Okay. So, what we're going to do is if we're starting here, okay, we're going to, very simply, elbow, elbow. That's our block. Our hand needs to be higher than our elbow. If it's flat, whatever we hit is just going to come above or under it. If it's down, you're going to force things up. right? Or through this gap. Here, we can deal with this. This is what we're looking for. So 1, 2. So we start like this. Okay, so this is technically a sixth piece, it's a sum. This is when we start to get into strategy. This is not our 5 basic things. Okay, so 1, 2. And you can move your body so that you're comfortable. The key to this is comfort. I'm gonna move a little bit different than John's gonna move, and Ariel's gonna move. Ariel or Ariel?
It's already.
Ariel, okay, perfect. Great. We're all gonna move different. Roughly, we're going to be very similar though, right? So from here, we're gonna go 1, 2. You gotta make sure that hand is higher than the elbow. Good again, 1, 2. Good. From here, 1, 2. All right, this is just so we've got right now. We're only gonna use one of these right now. So we're gonna go from here, here. Good, okay. So we've got blocking now, right? We're gonna put that on the shelf. Clean work table, right? We just went over a ton of stuff. Here's why we're going over a ton of stuff. It's so that we can build, I can build it in your head that when I spend 1,000,000 hours with you guys, or when Mr. John spends 1,000,000 hours with you guys, just working on how to do your stance, you understand why that's important. We're gonna learn a very simple drill now. A drill probably more simple than most that you've learned in classes already. Okay? Here's how the drill works. We're gonna start here like this. Okay, with our right hand up. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to elbow. Good. Step. Punch. Okay. That's the whole drill. Okay, so again, from inside, we're going to elbow. Good. Step. Punch. Okay. Okay. So from here, just goes 1, 2, 3. Try to keep those toes back.
Where do you want to put placement at? Doesn't matter.
Right now, don't worry about it. Because that'll add to the sort of a long time. You can even just put it back where you got it if you want to. So from here, 1. Good. 2. 3. Put back where you got it so our shape stays nice and simple. Okay? Now we're gonna add a little flavor to it. Okay? We're gonna elbow twice. Right? We'll block twice. So from here, we're gonna go 1. Good. 2. 2, 2 doesn't matter. You can punch twice. 1, 2. So we'll do 2 punches. 3. Let's do the 1 kick. And return. So we're gonna do 2 blocks, 2 strikes this time. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. Again. Ready from here? We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Good. All right, this is just to remind you to breathe. Hold your breath. You need it. Okay. Pretty easy to learn drill, right? Pretty straightforward. A lot of things to get right inside that drill. A lot of details. So, the 2 ways you can learn those are you can either do 1,000,000 drills 1,000,000 times and try and figure out the details from that as you do the drills, or you can learn the pieces individually and then learn to put them into a drill. My question for you is if we started with learn this drill and then I'm going to correct everything in the drill, would you feel like you got better or like you got worse by the end of the drill? At the motion you were doing. Okay. Now, if we took each motion and before we did the drill, made sure you could do each motion well, and then put it into the drill, would you feel like you got better or worse? Better. So both make you better. You will get both. Please be patient while you're learning the strict method of learning each piece individually. But here's the fun of the drill, right? There's somebody on the other side. So, Mr. John takes his posture. He's going to turn sideways. He's going to put up his bait, right? This is what he's presenting, so he's gonna look at me while I do this, alright? Because this is partner work, so I'm just gonna show you what it looks like when you throw somebody on the other end. First thing, he can use either elbow or both if he needs it. And now he's only gonna need one. Okay, so, but I'm not telling him which one he needs. He can use either one, it's up to him. Good, so there's his first block, right? So he's already got a stance and a block. Should you have turned yet? Okay, so again. Okay, ready? Go. Nice, all right. Now what are you gonna do? What's next in your exercise? Step straight, right? Boom, what comes next? Yep. Hop. Now we have a partner drill. So this is called A and B, right? Another concept you're gonna get really well versed with. He has the A motion set right now, right? The B, I can do whatever I want as long as it falls into his A. Right, so here's the cool thing about this drill. Oh, look at that. Okay, what's your next motion? Okay, I grab it. Sorry, I was slapping your head later. Okay, what do you do next? Yep. Boom. Did that deal with this? Okay, what other kick do you have? How can you kick that makes this hand pull? Sure. Right? Can you just throw a front kick and pull this to where it needs to be? This. Kick me in the chest. Okay, boom. Right? No more grab. So it's very easy to take the drills, because they're concept-based drills, and adapt them to a million different things. But do you worry about the person who knows how to do a million things and has done them each once? Or do you worry about the person who knows how to do 5 things and has done them 10,000 times each?
Second option, sir.
Yeah, I'm not worried about if you know 10,000 kicks, because you could hit me with every one of those 10,000 kicks in a row if you've only done them each once, and I'm probably going to walk away from it. But if you only know how to throw a front snap kick, but you spent 2 years perfecting that front snap kick, I better not get hit by that front snap kick, right? So I want you guys to be the group of, I better not get hit by them. So, the whole point of this class, right, this lesson, is a little bit of how much information does it require to be able to do a drill like that well? A lot, right? If you start to get frustrated when you're learning forms or you're learning drills, know that it has absolutely nothing to do with your intelligence or your ability to learn. It's just that they're very dense, information-dense things. The way you get better at your forms is by practicing your basics, right? And the way you get better at fighting is practicing your basics. If you want to get healthier, mentally more fit and focused, practice your basics. So, to kind of end my stuff, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. John, if you guys would like. I just want to give you guys a little taste of this. Is a really simple basics drill, right? And it's for stances. It's something I recommend you practice all the time, right? Just practice making fists sometimes, right? The more you do it, the more you're going to build those muscle memories. And then when you throw a fist, you won't have to think, fold the fist. Your fist will just fold, right? So it's a pretty simple drill. Start like this. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sink. Raise. Sink. Raise. Add a drop. Sink. Raise. Sink. Raise. Add a drop. Sink. Raise. Sink. Raise. Bring it in. Sink. Raise. Sink. Raise. Bring it in. Sink. Raise. Sink. Raise. Good. If you look at my feet, my toes are parallel with each other. Something I want you to make sure you're doing when you're doing your horse stances or your monkey stances. Okay. One more time so that your shoulder width. Sink. Raise. Sink. Raise. Good. Okay. Now, from this shoulder width stance, keep your feet basically right where they are. Just turn. Keep your other way forward. So we're going to sink, raise, sink, raise, raise, turn the other way. Our knee should be about shoulder width still. Sink, raise, sink, raise, sink. Raise, if you really want details to think about, don't let your back arch when you come here, right? Keep that core connected from the base of your tailbone to the base of your skull. You want a nice straight connection. Good, now we come back to that monkey stance, right, or that horse stance. Add a drop, turn, sink, raise, sink, raise, sink, raise, other side, sink, raise, sink, raise, sink, raise, and obviously you can break this up however you want. Do however many repetitions you want. 3 sets on each piece is a good place to start. Another drop, sink, raise, sink, raise, now sting raise, sink, raise, other side, sink, raise, sink, raise. Important thing when you're coming up, squeeze your glutes just like you're trying to stand up from a squat. If you just get in the habit of relaxing out of your stance, you'll actually get popped backwards out of it because your body gets lazy, right? So you want to stay in control the entire way that you're coming low and up. Good. Bring it in, raise, you get the idea, sink, raise, bring it in again, go back shoulder width, sink, raise, good. Now we do the same thing with our back stance. Now instead of, we're still going to turn this way, but we're going to drop our way backwards. Okay, so we're going to sink, raise, sink, raise, sink, raise, other side, sink, raise, sink, raise. So instead of having your knee pointed towards the ground, so it's going to start to pull your foot off the ground, turn your knee out so it's lined up with your toe. Okay, so it'll be down, up, down, up, down, up. And then we go back to our monkey. We're going to use this as our easy to gauge where our knees are stance. Add half. Okay, and then it's a half shoulder. Okay, turn. Sink that weight back. Down, up, down, up. So you get the idea. Do that all the way out, all the way back, and then you're going to go through all of them stack. Then you just hold. 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you can do. Then up. Then you add half. There you go, as low as you can, keeping everything correct, and you hold, however long that is, and up. You add half. Kind of see how this works? It's a pyramid and then a reverse pyramid, right? You work your way out, then you work your way back in. Do the same thing with each type of stance. So it's a dynamic, and then it's a static. And everybody just do a little stretching afterwards. So this would normally be a time when you get a specific drill or a specific combo or an exercise where your instructor will likely tell you something along the lines of, okay, go ahead and take a couple notes real quick. And that'll give you time to write down whatever you feel like you need to write down and be able to go back and do it again. I'm going to say this. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, sir. Hand it back over to Mr. John. So that you know the route, the low stance work comes from Nora or Madura, right? The crash, that actual combo comes from Bacardi, and then the method of doing that comes from your Jai. So just so you have a little bit of taste where each piece of that's coming from. So I recommend write down that stance exercise, it's a really good one. And then,
Actually, I would say run it down now, I'll express your mind.
yeah, and then they're all yours, sir. Need anything else?
Yes, sir. Let's go with push-ups. I have extra paper if you want to write notes. Get a firm. Is it purple?
Yeah.
He's old as Hammy.
procedure, and then it heals. I tore my hamstring. It takes a long time to heal.
Yeah, so don't really make like, don't lunge forward, like this.
Keep it on, keep it on.
Yeah, I'll keep it in, I'll get myself.
Really bothering you? Like,
See the tape marks from that.
Yes. I've told this to Alex, and I'll tell it to you, whenever you take notes, especially like in this particular format, put the date, the teacher, that way if you have questions, we're gonna allow you to refer to it, and know, oh, Jason gave us our lesson today.
If you're the notebooks on the street.
Right.
What's today, sir?
Today's the 12th.
Good to
You
hear.
know, I was gonna bring you something for dinner, but I didn't know what dietary restrictions you have. I made chicken parmesan. But would you eat it if I brought it in?
I would,
Middle school years were rough.
as long as it's not, I am Goreng again. There you go, another 2 years without I am Goreng, I think.
Right.
That's fried chicken.
You know,
Yeah, as long as it's not like straight up fried chicken.
well, it's covered in egg and parmesan and seasoned breadcrumbs.
I'm talking like KFC style. Yeah.
No, not that. But it does has a crispy shell. If you can remember the drill, try to describe that to yourself as well, because you can work on that. All right? You're related. First stance. 1, 2, 3, and then back to your worst stance, or you could 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You can add double strikes, double ones. But the pattern is a triangle pattern, right? So you're in bladed stance. If you're facing this way, but you're in bladed stance, then you do your block, and you step, and now you finish that triangle, right? Boom, boom. And then you add your strikes, you add your kick, you go back to start. I would also highly recommend that you do both left and right. Because we are dominant on one side if you're left-handed or right-handed. And if you only practice on one side, you'll kind of be out of balance. And you'll stress one side continuously. So to not cause any injuries to yourself by only working one side, I would definitely go left and right. Anything you can do on the right, you can do on the left, and vice versa. It doesn't mean, like Universal 2, you can do it on the left. I'm not worried about you doing it on the left right now. All I care about is that you get the format. And now with this information that you have, when we go back to do Universal 2, now you're going to think about your stance, your transition, right? And how you're moving, where your weight is. You know, at some point when you're going through this stuff, you'll be able to feel it when you're right and you're wrong. You won't have to look down and go, oh, my foot.
Yeah, that's starting to kick in for me.
That's good,
Yeah.
that's good, and I hope that works at some point. If it's not consistent yet, I want you to get there. Because if you can feel what's right and what's wrong, then you can fix it right away. That make sense? You're welcome. You know what, we're gonna leave this around just in case we have those for the next class. And actually, we are done with this class. Did you have any questions, Thomas? No. So that's, I would continue to do your stepping, but with this idea in mind, right? And I would also do those drills that Jason gave us with practicing your stances, getting lower, 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 resetting, doing your front stance, lower, 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 resetting other side. Those are great drills. Those will help you with your foundational work. I highly recommend that you do them almost every day if you have the opportunity. And then you guys are recovered from your trip in regards to the travel part.
So I mean, we got back.
Yeah, late last night. That's why I was surprised you were here today. I'm thankful you were, don't get me wrong.
Here, show me you doing that drill real quick.
Since you guys always go to Haven, should you have like a property out there?
We do have a property out there, but we also spend a lot of time.
You want me to go back?
No, you're good, go ahead.
Ready? Nice. Yes?
Your turn. I want you guys to be able to see yourself so you can make critiques on your own stuff. to work on. Ready? Go ahead. Good.
You guys are gonna say.
Go ahead, bud.
Your parents here? Okay, cool.
Good. All right. Here's what we'll do. I want you guys to work on that drill just on your own. So, a week. Next Wednesday. You can record again and compare it to this week and see how.
That sounds good. That's where I think you videotape yourself and pick up these small nuances. That were so, I mean, you've done much similar work in Rose Valley, right? You have all these little things you have to pay attention to that take a little bit of time to bring it all together, right?
Everything.
Right? So at least you've experienced that path before.
Or is it that? Are you stepping and then?
So, from here, right? Pelvis is forward, back straight. I'm one elbow, I'm doing two, it doesn't matter, we do just one.
You have to
Boom, boom, no, boom, boom, stepping 45, boom, boom, kick. And then back to here. Yes?
Yeah.
Let me do it for the camera. Drill from Indonesia. Bladed stance. Posture, pelvis roll forward, block, block, step 45, strike, strike, kick, back to bladed stance. A drill to do.
Still don't know.
With what?
It's embarrassing, I still don't know all the universal one.
I need to. Okay.
And I barely know.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're the only one here, we'll go over both.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Um, 7 up, yeah. I'll tell you what. These people here by now. So we're gonna do whatever the hell we want to call it. Why don't you start with Universal 2, because that's probably the freshest one in your mind. And then, if you get to a point where you're going up, let's go back to that.
So it's
Pass. So I want you to do that again, right? 1, 2.
oh, and just down.
Yeah. So, double strike. Boom, boom. So, we're crossing the second one.
Great, so-
Actually, you don't need to go quite that far. Well,
Oh, it's just that.
so when you step back here. Here. That way you're just deflecting that second.
Now, when you come here, like you need this one's face.
I don't want to keep it too close because if you're passing a strike, right?
Yeah.
It's really close. If you're protecting yourself with a knife, I guess, but in this particular instance, it's going to be strikes. So a little bit farther away from your head. So I'm about right
Just
on my
stand there,
shoulder.
protect, like,
You can. That pass is going from your arm is starting in your upper left to your upper right, lower left. So you're literally covering all 4 quadrants of that pass. And then on this one, my hand is starting from a chamber, so I'm coming from upper right, upper left.
and you get technical, I'm trying to agree, like, slow but correct.
I have a good deal for you. And it can just be for the first part of this, not for the whole thing. When we get to forms that are not quite as expansive, this drill comes around. But for the beginning of this, that'll be good for you.
35.
So, yes, when this offhand, when I come here, I'm chambered. So chamber this hand.
Oh, so it's chamber, it's right.
So it's ready, it's like an ox gun ready to shoot.
Right.
And again, do it again. That way, that way if somebody hits, you have a little bit of room and it's not going to be like a pancake to the side of your face. Yeah, so I'm literally going for my shoulder. Make it a little bit more distinct for now. What I mean by that is 1, 2. Now, at some point, you should be able to do them both at the same time, but I want you to break them up a little bit right now. 1, 2, in that fashion. Yes.
1, 2.
And one other piece of detail, if you remember, you do this, a little bit of a curve in that hand, and I'll tell you why. When you pass that, if you don't have it, okay. If you don't have that curve, I might be able to get out a little bit easier. It's kind of a little bit of a hook, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this one's here, it's,
I'm usually right about to the side of my leg, because I have already passed this thing. And so I'm here in a ready position because my next move is
oh, and it's
here.
naturally goes that way too.
Yeah. Yes. So let's do this. Let's angle you just a little bit so you can see if you want. I want to just do 1, 2, and I just want you to do 1, 2. Reset, 1, 2, reset, 1, 2. So, boom, boom, set. Sir,
See what you gotta work on.
beginnings of university. I want you to really visualize what you're doing.
Yeah,
It makes a
that
lot,
makes everything for me, so I'm a very visual person.
you and me both.
So having like the actual, doing it in the air is always a bit odd, 'cause I'm like, I
I
remember when I first
understand.
got in, I'm like, what, I didn't even know if it caught. I'm like, wait, and then wait. Like, what is going on in that scenario?
Exactly, what's going on?
What?
But it, I will also say, again, it helps to video yourself. So if you can go through your motions, videotape yourself, and then when we go through everything, like Jason was describing, and then when you go back and look at it, the second time and compare the two, you're probably gonna see some improvement somewhere, and then maybe something like, my feet were up there, or my leaning backwards, or my position was off a little.
And with that habit right now, just doing my right side, and my left side is so behind on just every. You know, like I just say, this is how I practice, right? That's fine, but then I go to, see now my brain is,
Okay, I'm gonna give you something else to work on, to help with left and right, we're working on that for a second. Inefficient. That's a rare occurrence. I will think if you go tonight, but I'm something you might not talk. Not saying anymore. Have a good night, guys. All right. We'll get to what I planned for you a little bit later. What I would like to do, don't worry about your other side for now.
okay.
I just want you to worry about doing the form on one side, which is the way we started. So I'd like you to go through as far as you can. Let's say stop, stop, and I want to fix something.
Universal too.
Yes, please. I should stop. When you go from your elbow, look first, then cross body, then step. And the reason being, well, I call it an L step, but basically you're just going back.
Resetting.
That kind of motion. If you don't look and you turn that direction,
This is 1.5 shoulder width.
yes, you're gonna be in a medium height, that's correct. So go back to your elbow, so you're here, do you remember that? If you don't look, boom. If you look, and then cross body left, look, cross body, boom. There you go. So that's why it's important to look before you leave.
Is it, so, from here, elbow,
Mhm.
look, body,
Hmm?
reset. Look,
Not yet,
no, punch,
not yet.
Yes.
bridge, lunge.
Yes.
Punch. Back.
Yes.
Elbow.
Nope, not left.
Now the left.
Just the same way you came out of the elbow, right? So you're in the cot, right? Now you're gonna be walking that direction, so I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna transition to a front stance.
Oh, by putting the front leg back.
But now look at your stance.
Right.
Okay. So now you're gonna do 3. So, 1. Bridge. Punch. And like this.
So, and when I'm doing this,
You're stepping towards me.
oh, and now I'm correcting.
Hammer fist.
Hammer fist,
Hold.
poke,
Come on. And turn towards me.
slowly,
Yes. Bridge. B.
am I looking this way the whole time?
You're looking the way you're going, so if you're going this direction, I want you to focus this direction. And punch.
Oh.
Step towards me. Punch. Hammer fist. Poke. You come with left. Front stance. 3 V steps. No, your length is right, the width is right, but you're really consistent about keeping this back foot flat instead of turning it forward.
Yeah.
So I want you to kind of pay attention to that as you're doing your V step. Okay? And one more. No, you're right, that's it. Cross step. Unwind. Bridge. Step towards me and punch. Hammer fist. Cup. Close. You don't actually have to do that, you can just close. That's more for linears.
Ah,
So if you remember the pattern,
yeah, I have the sheet, but to be honest, I
I'm
haven't.
going to pull it out so you can look
I
at
haven't
it.
practiced the inverse a whole lot at home.
That's okay. So this is the pattern, right?
Right.
Your punch, hammer fist, poke occurs on each one of these corners.
So there's
Your
4.
elbows occur on the 45s.
So really there's 2 elbows.
There's 2 elbows.
There's
This is all one thing, and you repeat it down here.
It's like, because with these patterns and thinking numerically how many of each things, that's where I get lost if I'm just like going, but also looking at just the pattern that you're going.
I would almost say instead of counting how many times you need to do one thing, that can be really hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I just need to look at the pattern more honestly.
Universal one is the same thing.
Same exact pattern.
Same exact pattern. The
It's
only
almost
thing
the
that's
same.
different is the elbow and the striking.
Never slow.
And your higher.
Universal one's shoulder width, right?
Yes.
It's
Same beginning. Yes.
back.
Yes. Yes. Switch your arms.
This-
Sorry. No, you're right. I was wrong.
Is it the arm that's up is with the leg that's out?
Yes. Because,
Oh, because this is where your
and I'm covering not only my femoral, but my groin. And then bridge.
bridge.
Punch.
Punch.
Back fist.
Back fist.
Poke. Off. Left. Front stance. Now your V step 3 times. This time when you do your V step, I want to make sure you pay attention to your foot. So when you come out of a transitional V stance to your next stance, if you feel your foot is pointing this way, shift your toes forward.
Same exact.
Still the same pattern, still the same. There you go. There you go. Now you cross step. Unwind. Bridge, or pregnant woman, or whatever else you want to call it. Punch. This. Oh. 45 elbow. Yes. Left. Cross body. And no, cross body block, and then yes.
You know what, I don't know why, but that's the stuff I was forgetting, was like, speed back.
It is, but you're still a little bit linear this way, so when you come off this elbow, you look cross body. Make sure you don't come straight
Not
back.
straight back,
Come almost back to where you were.
but gotcha.
As a matter of fact, I would say go back to where you were.
Elbow. Elbow, like, cross body.
Yes.
Okay,
But toes. Those toes are fine.
heel.
Yes, because when you come out of it, your back foot is more at a 90-degree angle, and I want your feet like this.
More in the heel toe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then your bridge,
Bridge.
V, punch, back fist poke. Yeah. And see, you're a little narrow on that stance too. Well, maybe it looks that way to me because, again, your foot is this way. If you turn your feet,
That's a huge habit of mine, so I need to keep this flat.
and the reason there are different front stances. You saw one today, crescent. You're going to see others that will have these kinds of different shifts. For now, I need to make sure that you have this one solid.
Yeah.
Absolutely rock
And
solid.
it feels unnatural right now, but I really should just hold these stances like this because another habit I have is my knees turn inward rather than outward because it feels so unnatural.
But now, where's your weight shifted on that? There you go. And that drill that you got today from Jason, that will really truly help
Yeah.
with feeling how those stances should be, right? So I highly recommend for you to do everybody, but you can sink down a lot lower than most people because of your background. You're much more flexible. So you're gonna knee step 3 times.
Trying to get my.
Hmm? Then you cross step.
This looks so.
You don't want to go
You don't really
too
know
far.
there.
You want to go just far enough so that when you turn around, get that. Bridge. And then your 3 strikes. This way. And close.
I just want to do that, but.
That's okay. So your punches are going to be in the end. Think of it like the letter I, a capital I. Your punches are going to be on the ends of each part of the I. Up
Here and
front
here,
and in back.
here, back. All those are here,
We're fine.
here.
Yes. And then you're just V-stepping down 3 times and V-stepping back 3 times.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes things a lot easier, but yeah, very similar.
So now, the difference between universal 1 and universal 2, upward elbow, high stance, slightly lower stance, side elbow, right? For your strikes, another thing. Number 1, universal 1 blocks here, universal 2 block here, okay? So if we're doing 1, bridge, V, punch, back fist, poke, right? And if we're doing 2, boom, 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 punch, hammer fist, poke.
And that makes so much more sense that you're on the lower end of that motion.
It helps. I also, the best way to describe it is like being watery. Water Tai Chi has a lot of flowiness to it.
That's another one of my things. I tend to be very fire is totally my element, and so I'm lacking in the water element.
One of these days,
And the Eastern philosophies, I mean, I love Eastern philosophy, so
I'll teach you water Tai Chi at one of these points so you can practice your.
and just me as a
Flow.
person, I'm so, like, my best friend is just, you're so intense, like, just you as a person, like,
So, I recommend doing those, stance drills. Let's go through Universal 2 one more time. Good. You don't necessarily have to move your foot, because I think your alignment is okay. All I really need you to do is just turn and shoot.
forward.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
We're starting with these.
Mhm. Good.
The,
Bridge.
oh, bridge, okay, see, I'm forget that part too. Watch.
Good.
Um,
Good. Don't worry about speed. Things that happen. Okay. Cross side. Unwind.
that direction,
Bridge.
bridge, check,
Punch back to the foot. Yeah.
bridge,
Hammer. This. Worry about elbow. Left.
right, or no?
No. Now, on that time, you did your elbow, you looked, you crossed body down straight, when you came back straight back, which means laterally you're really unstable.
Right,
So you need to go back to where you were, so you're in a good cross.
side,
Yes, yes.
okay. Bridge. Check.
Mm-hmm,
Left.
mm-hmm. Where's your weight? Good. Bridge, your V step 3 times. Nope.
No.
Go back there, you were fine, you were right. Up to that point, now you cross step.
Oh, sorry, so cross step occurs here and here.
Yes.
Okay.
The elbows are connected to the cross steps, because that starts that pattern. And again, step 2 later. Yes.
And then it's,
Bridge.
bridge, block check, and punch.
Uh-huh. And close. Good. So,
That
Some of
helped a lot, the visualization of that, like the eye and the.
well, yeah, I mean, if we go back and look at this pattern, we've got, when you do your cross step and unwind, that's the beginning of your strikes,
Okay.
right? So you cross step to finish, you cross step down here. So you only cross step twice. Basically, this whole piece is repeated down here.
Yeah.
So everything you do up here, you do down here. It's the same thing. You're just doing it on the bottom of the eye. So you have 2 45s going in opposite directions. Step out a little wider, that rear step. Not wider distance, wider this way. Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're standing straight on this line, it's a little wobbly.
later.
If your feet are a little bit farther apart, remember it's a toe to heel alignment.
Okay.
Yes.
Bridge. bridge.
Mm-hmm. 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 There you go. One more. There you go.
Crossbody,
Cross step.
cross step,
One more.
now this way.
Uh-huh.
Now it's the punches.
No.
Oh, no, and now it's.
There you go. Good.
Walk check, and then it's.
Uh-huh.
Look.
Step forward on your 45. The 45 elbow. After your punch,
Oh.
hammer fist, poke, decock, 45 elbow. Now look at that. Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. And then
Uh-huh.
that.
Mhm. 3. Yeah. Yeah.
Those?
Nope.
No,
Punch,
no,
no.
punch,
You
punch.
still got 3 punches.
And it's not this direction.
Yeah, it is that direction. And close. So on each ends of the eye, punch hammer this book.
Push hammer this foot, punch
On 2. So anytime, every time you go from your elbow, you turn around, you're here, every time you end up in this position, the next thing you're gonna do is 3 strikes, whatever, there's 1, 2, or 3, doesn't matter which one it is. So you're doing your strikes at the ends of the eye, all 4. And your 45 elbows kind of start that process. I'm trying to think of a way to break it down into smaller chunks that might make sense.
It's definitely making way more sense than it did. I almost feel like when we did the blindfold, so, I don't know why, but maybe it's because I'm just using my senses.
One more step,
Um,
cross step, one more. Bridge, there you go.
Elbow,
Nope, not yet.
not yet.
Every
Punch.
time you get to that V, what did I tell you? 3 strikes. Now you're elbow, after your 3
Elbow,
strikes.
3 strikes. Elbow.
Mhm.
Bridge. Elbow.
The blindfold on, look left. And then cross body, nope.
Bridge, crossbody. Can't tell where my eyes are closed.
You're missing a piece.
So elbow, elbow,
Wait, go back to your elbow.
elbow.
I'll walk you through it. Look left. Cross body and rotate towards my voice. Yes. Yes. Now bridge. Mhm. Yep. Three V's. One more. Cross body. No. Crossbody, I'm sorry, cross step, not crossbody, okay. What? And whoops. Okay. You started here. You had it really good all the way down here. You had that part good. You're a little confused here, but you got this right. You got this right. You got this right. And then once you got done with this, when you turned, kind of started off at an angle here. And then when you crossed step, you went even farther. And I'll tell you why you went farther. Because when you cross step, you didn't cross step in an angle that would put you in front stance in the right direction. It literally turned, instead of me facing that way, which is where I wanted to be, on your cross step, we're facing that way.
Too far over then, right? So it really just doesn't seem like it takes.
You need to
much
cross your
time.
center line a little bit.
So from here,
Yes.
here, it's almost a little past the middle, like.
You have to cross your center line,
Yeah.
and I would even go just a hair over, yeah? And then
So
you're
maybe
done.
like
Uh-huh.
visually your toes with your toes. Oh,
And now you're in a much better
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
Don't go too far. If you go too far, now I'm facing this
now you're
direction.
at 45, yeah. I mean, doing it with my eyes though somehow is,
Because
because it
it's
really
interesting,
integrates it.
you're taking away one sense because maybe sometimes visually we get,
I
pulled
think
away
it's so
from things.
distracted and I'm looking at myself in the mirror and that just doesn't help anything. Now I'm just, my focus is not there. My focus is,
I think the focus is there. It's just, right now you're at the memorization part. And there's a lot of pieces to this, even though they repeat. Good, very good. Good.
you know,
Good. That was right. Don't
Yeah,
overthink
no,
it.
no, no.
That was right. Don't overthink it.
okay.
You're done.
That was better.
Much better.
Yeah, that was better.
Much better.
But yeah.
Your angles, especially on your elbow, you hit it perfectly. And all of the pieces of the eye, you hit perfectly. And your cross steps were really pretty decent for the most part. So now you're getting the feel, without watching yourself, now you're getting the feel.
It makes so much more, like when we were doing it the other night, I had barely tapped into Universal too. But then when we did it with the blindfold, something, I mean, maybe it's just a me thing and how I operate.
It doesn't matter. It's whatever clicks with you and make it go forward.
Taking away that sense, like you say,
Mhm.
just kind of heighten my feeling of like what it feels like to do this.
I would recommend for you then, and I do this occasionally, any form that you learn. I would do with my eyes closed at some point, and I go back and repeat them every once in a while, my eyes closed. I think it, as you had mentioned, it gives you a better sense of your own body awareness. You know, is my weight forward? Are my feet right? What's my body posture? Where's my head? Are my hands in the right place?
Yeah.
You know, if you work from the bottom up every single time, that will help. Couple that with the stance drills,
Yeah,
because then now you're going to be able to feel, okay, this is a medium horse stance, this is an upright horse stance, you know, and this is a, you know, Maduran horse stance, you know. You'll be able to feel where you're going to be going in the future,
Yeah.
because there are forms. Linear three, down here. So you're doing the same. It's a thrusting elbow, low block check, low block check.
these forms are to teach you to play some different.
They're from different parts of Java. And so there are two lineages from the same family that have been married.
Yeah.
So the Daniels family is royalty, high, you know, very high stances because royal people stand very tall, right? The Maduran part of it is more blue collar. The fishermen that are down here throwing nets in shallow, short boats.
Yeah,
So they have to be very balanced to do the work like that.
that's so cool. God, I mean, I'm doing, and then I just want to refresh on because I know universal one's pretty much the same, but.
Once you learn the pattern, once you really get the pattern in your head, then the only thing you're looking at is things
The
like
different
upper
blocks.
elbow, side elbow, thrusting elbow, high block, medium block, low block.
I did have a simple question, but just for technique's sake, heel toe form. How do you know which, well, I guess, never mind.
Front toe,
That was a
rear heel.
silly question.
So if you're on this line, right?
Right.
My front toe is on line, my rear heel is on line.
Heel is the rear. I think, and I have a bad habit of doing this, stepping straight back versus the 45 degrees, so,
And when you step straight back, go ahead and do that. You're very
yeah, versus.
off as opposed to, you don't even need to lean into it, you're very solid in that stance.
Yeah,
So if you're very linear this way in your stance, you're gonna be very unstable in this direction.
yeah, that's definitely a mental habit because in ballet, you're very extremely linear with everything.
And that, you know, for that discipline, it makes sense, and you've learned that, that's in your muscle memory, I understand that.
Yeah. so
That's
just
something
doing-
that you just need to put in a box on the shelf.
I think probably just doing flex over and over too at home.
Okay. With
And I
that
have
being said, I was gonna hold off on this drill,
Yeah.
but since you just brought that up,
Okay.
I think this drill will be applicable to you. We're only gonna go through to the elbow.
And another simple question was for form. So when I'm standing like this, my shoulders are remaining forward, right? Like
As long
I'm
as
not
they're
really
hips.
wanting to, I mean, unless
Right, if you're striking and you're rotating your hips with your strike, that's fine, but I'd like to see your,
but this remains
yes, yes.
forward. And I have a bad habit of wanting to lean the way that my back.
You're not the only one, it's more comfortable to do that.
It is. But
And
it's
so
fine.
we default to what's comfortable.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Well, you'll get it, just
Yeah.
keep drilling it. All right, so I'm gonna show you this drill, we're just gonna go to the elbow. But I think it will help you partially with the memorization, partially with form, partially with technique. So, very first motion, 1, reset. Other side, 1, reset. Left side, 1, 2, reset. Other side, 1, 2,
See, my left
One.
side is closer. 1,
2, reset. Left side, 1, 2, 3, reset. 1, 2, 3.
1. It's funny because you know, one side is super special because there's so many different directions. It's that.
2, other side. There you go. Now you don't need to,
3.
so 1, 2, I'm just rotating,
This
right?
side gets it.
Reset. Now other side. 1, 2, just rotate, 3. Okay, reset. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reset. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wait.
Yep. So that'll help you with a variety of
That's gonna
things.
help balance out both sides.
It'll balance on both sides, it'll work your other side. You'll work the first part of the form, which the passing tends to be a little bit more technical,
Yeah.
and that's something that I want you to really pay attention to.
I'm so dominant using I guess my left, I'm right-handed, but my left, when I'm using my left components, I guess, it's stronger. Maybe it's a little- But then I go to this side and I still want to use this arm, so I gotta break that.
That'll hopefully kind of start getting into your brain, getting the mirrored side of this whole thing working.
Yeah. So I'll probably do twice the amount on this side.
I've actually done that. I've actually done that because
Now that I'm getting deeper, it's getting really irritating, not irritating, but it's getting
I
really just
understand.
like.
I understand. I did the same thing. Now, universal one, Juru Satu. Just watch. Juru Satu. This is a piece of universal one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's Juru Satu. Now, you've seen parts of that that look very familiar. You're already doing it.
Right.
Okay, do it. Universal 2. Boom, boom, go. Here, block check. Here, hammer fist, front side kick. Boom. So front side kick is, remember that? Did I show you that?
Yeah, I remember, and then it's when you turn your head.
You're turning your, it's like a
So
front
you
kick, and at the
chamber-
last second, you rotate your hip over. You're still kicking with, the outside of that foot, but instead of me coming here,
Chamber.
I'm actually kicking front and rotating.
Oh.
During the kick.
First, not during the chamber.
Yeah,
Oh.
so I'm starting, rotating.
Okay,
Yeah,
more of a.
that's something we'll get to. Don't angst over that for now. But that drill we just did.
Mhm.
1, 1.
Yeah, that's.
1, 2,
huge,
1, 2,
especially
1,
for
2, 3, 1,
balancing.
2, 3.
Yeah.
That will hopefully get your mind thinking on the other side of your body. And it'll get you practice for those passes too,
Great.
the first part. Compass, striking, and blocking. Have we done that?
Yeah, we get a whole bunch of things, so. Okay.
Just static from horse stance. Okay. What I'd like you to do, instead of making it look a bit, you're going
Right.
like Zorro, which is actually pretty cool, but what I'd like you to do is come back to the center every time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on 4, let's talk about targets. If you're going that high, what is your target? No.
Oh, that,
You're going
down that.
from your lower hip to
And
upper
this is like
shoulder.
across, yeah.
So what would be your targets? You have floating ribs,
Ribs.
right? So you could boom in there or groin. I would not take this way up. I'm either gonna go groin or I'm gonna go ribs.
I'm using myself as a target. Things to be right.
Mhm.
So
So if you're doing that, then where are your soft ribs? You're cutting through somebody, right?
Yeah,
But you're not gonna be able to do that with your hand.
right.
You want your energy to go through that person. But I don't want your follow through all the way through. So in other words, if I'm doing this, this is a big guy, there's no way I'm gonna go. Right?
Yeah.
So I would just look for your target. Either soft ribs, right? You know what I mean? Because this, to me, I don't know how else to put it. I'll describe it to you how it's been described to me. I would consider that almost wasted motion, right? Because after this, what's the function? So I would just keep it to the function at hand. So when you're doing this at home in the mirror, let's do it in the mirror. I would not go, woo. I would just kind of go to my ribs or groin and leave it at that.
Oh, your arm stays.
Yeah, it's not quite straight, but it's not bent.
You're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not T-Rexing it. Boom. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and then 5 straight up. And so every time you come back to center, this is in effect a chamber for you. This. Hug yourself. You can be relaxed and in front, but if your elbows are out like this, your ribs are exposed.
So,
Keep your elbows down. Boom. Yes. You can't, I love it. Awesome.
when you get here, is it?
It's from hip to shoulder. Wait,
Don't
no,
like-
shoulder to hip, shoulder to hip. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing with 5 as 4. I wouldn't go very high. 5, hip to shoulder, 6, across, 7.
I guess I feel like I'm bending my arms, so.
Yeah, extend them out a little bit more. And then 8 is shoulder to hip.
Yeah, I mean, the diagonal is easy, it's more the these,
And I want you to do those left and right.
and then on the left side. One, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, 5.
I don't think doing this is going to give you a lot of energy. Make it more of a extended hand instead of T-Rexing. Because if you do the T-Rexing, the only power you're going to get is really from here to here. If you use all of your arm and your body, you're getting much more energy into it. I'm not saying that for this particular drill, but I want your arms to get in a good place so that when you start adding your stepping with your striking, you'll get more out of it.
Not striking very high. That's a little special there. I'm like, I don't understand.
Oh, trust me, I've been there, we've all been
Right
there.
now, where I'm like, all right, left side, we've got some work to do. But it's not always full, like, it's, like I said, when I'm starting, I mean, that's my strong side, I'm starting on the left with these things, but when I do like remote exercises.
Well, this will be good for you to practice that.
Yeah.
And I would definitely, if you're struggling with left, I agree with you, do it twice as much as you're right for the short term, just to get that memorization, just to get
A little bit.
comfortable
Yeah.
with it. Because even with like Juru Satu, you're gonna have to do it not only on one side, you're gonna have to do it on the other side.
Right, yeah.
right?
That's
Boom,
nice.
close, and then boom, boom. Boom, boom, and then you end up with your start. Right. Okay. So it's probably good for you to just drill both left and right.
Yeah, agreed.
And now blocks, so we do blocks.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so let's just cover them real quick. And it's the same pattern. Same 1 through 8. 1. So I like it instead of, first off, I don't want to close your head because of somebody's strong point. Second off, even though it's a 1 strike coming from this angle, if your forearm is angled, if I'm striking, it's going to be a deflection. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Yes. No? 1, 2. Uh-huh,
Oh. Okay. 1,
uh-huh.
2.
Now, another thing, don't bring your arm back. You're weak when you bring your arm outside of your core. And if you bring it behind you, you're even weaker. So when you're doing these, I just need you to be about here. Boom. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So do those left and right. We'll add stepping, and I think we've done it with stepping, but Cameron and I learned it that way a long time ago, and it was a really good way to start, to understand the angles. You're not gonna go, I'm gonna chop you, boom, I'm gonna chop you, boom, I'm gonna chop you. These are strictly teaching you angles of attack,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
It's just like,
Because Bandil, boom, right? Bandil, boom,
right.
right? Bandil, boom. So these are all angles of attack. And if you have this in your brain, it doesn't matter what tool you have, what fist you're using, right? Even kicks, you can kind of go in those directions. So those are angles of attacks or defense. You can look at it that way.
I like that because I'm very like too.
Okay?
And I was thinking about the like closing my eyes and doing the forms. I think I'm just so overly analytical in general, so my mind works that way. So when I take away my vision, it simplifies.
I understand because I overthink things as well.
I literally just had a meeting with my monthly meeting with my boss, and she's like, "You're highly intelligent, but that's going to be your downfall in this position for a career." She was way overly analytical. I'm like, "Well, don't you want me to be thoroughly analytical when I'm interviewing folks?" But
Right, you're vetting them.
that job's a total numbers game though, so there's, this is my struggle right now, this is kind of why I haven't been practicing at home lately, so much stress at work, so I'm like, I can't morally, it's kind of beginning, we have like a new system in place that's made it just a pure numbers game, they don't even care about the people like who are trying to.
That's frustrating, isn't it?
So, on the down low, I've kind of been applying other places, so.
I understand. Okay, so let's talk about stress a little bit. Have we gone over any breathing for you?
We've done the count of 7 where we kind of lay on the floor and we want to relax inside. And I started doing that in bed. I do, something about closing my eyes and doing stuff too is I try to meditate not as often as I'd like to, as I should, but meditation is huge for me, so
Okay, so if you're meditating, especially if you're at work, say even though your eyes are closed, let's say you're just,
I forget
Yes.
to breathe at work, like, sitting
I,
there on a computer and I'm just freaking like, I think it's a numbers game now, so now it's like in order to keep my job, I have to hit numbers every week and I've never wanted to be in that position. So like literally I'll forget my breathing is so shallow and I'll catch myself because all of a sudden I'm like, I wasn't breathing.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
subconscious.
So I would say, if you get a chance to either take a break, or if you can't take a break, and you still have to work, just, I wouldn't even worry about counting if you have to pay attention to other things while you're breathing. But I would just do a long, slow deliver in, and a long, slow deliver out. And just go through that for a little bit until it kind of brings you back to center, you know. I would do that kind of stuff at work. I used to work at the Center for Disease Control. And so we talked about, now the numbers game, but numbers, we would do research all the time. And so I would come home and I'd be thinking about studies that we were doing or collaborations or trips I had to do, whatever. It's like, okay.
Ideally, I would like to work for 8 hours and then forget about it. And this is the type of job right now where I'm carrying it home with me. It's on me if I have work. So sometimes I take my computer home and it's just, you know, so C-Law is totally my sanctuary right now. So.
I understand that too. Oh, man.
At the end of a stressful day, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I can just go home and go to bed, but no, I'm going to C-Law.
Good for you. You know, that's a great attitude to have.
It is.
Obviously, life throws you curveballs all the time. It's never
Yes,
perfect, right?
And also, I love a good challenge, so it's almost like, okay.
I can see that in you.
You want a numbers game? I'll give you a numbers game.
I can see that in you. And I mean that in a really good way,
Yeah.
because you
It's the
have
Bible
the
word.
persistence to follow through.
Yeah.
There was a statistic I saw that I thought was really interesting. 10,000 people signed up at this school. 3 months, half of them would be gone. In another 3 months, half of those people would be gone. So now you're down to 5,000, 2,500 people. In a year, at least a half, maybe to 2/3 of those people are going to be gone. When it gets right down to it, 1 out of 10,000 people will become viable. That's because you need persistence, confidence, and just, I can do it. You know, nothing comes easy.
Yeah.
You've already been this route with ballet.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You have to work hard at it. But when it goes right, it's the best feeling in the
Really?
world. No drug can ever take your
Yeah.
place.
And I do have my moments, you know, I had that meeting, things changed at work, but just an example, I mean, I have a very high threshold for stress too, and I think part of that is from just, I mean, everything has been highly disciplined, you know, thing in my life, from ballet and when I was little to like now this job is keeping me extremely disciplined. I really have to, it's not an office job that I can go to and be like, I'm just gonna chill for 8 hours, you know, wait for the clock. No, if I'm not focused and I'm not working and I leave everything else behind, I get it done, so.
Well, without trying to sound like a jerk, I don't have to worry about that as well.
I know, I don't
Believe me, it's like, oh, wow.
You know what the issue, so I had a couple interviews and now the issue is people think I'm too overqualified. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like 5 years ago, I was underqualified.
Right.
How the heck? I'm like,
Well,
just give me a job, give me a normal office job. Well, are you sure you're gonna be happy just sitting here in an office? Yes.
yeah, that's like, okay. Let's see. You've done that, you've done the passes. Jason gave us a bunch of good drills to do. Do you remember the bladed drill with the elbows?
Oh,
kick?
that's it. Yeah.
Where's your phone? You know what? I want to film you on your phone,
Yes.
doing a couple of things so that when you go home, you can at least have it. Okay. Why don't you face, come up to the red square here and be bladed towards me because you're going to be,
Going towards you.
yes. So let's see, what side did you,
So if mine is first.
and then your hands are in a block check position. More like,
Oh, not block check.
right,
Outside block check.
yes, ma'am. All right.
you ready?
Yep.
I forgot already. It's that, and then there's a step,
Yeah,
45, forward,
front, yeah, front,
front 45,
punch,
punch.
and then,
See, I want to do punch.
and then kick. Not sure that was it, here. I think
It's,
if I'm here, if I was filming that direction, if I was here, I'm gonna go elbow, step out with your front foot to 45, punch towards the sink.
oh, right.
Other hand. It doesn't matter. Actually, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, and you can do it double strike. Now look at your feet. So
Wait.
when you're here,
Yeah.
when you're here, right, you do this, you're shifting to a front stance. And then you're striking. And then you're kicking. And then you're resetting.
That's it.
Mhm. So, elbow, step, punch. Nope, you got it right. Too much, 45, yes.
Oh, this is smaller stuff.
Mhm. Strike, kick, boom, reset. And, I don't know where you want to do this one, but I think we did it this way. So, elbow, step, strike, kick, reset. Make sense?
Yep.
So if you're going this direction, yes, you're gonna be here, elbow, actually,
Is it?
strike, I'll have you face the opposite direction, kick, reset. So, face this way.
Sorry.
That was weird.
Oh, and I was facing this way, but it turned
Yes.
that way. Okay, like, nobody knows it.
Alright,
Okay.
hang on. Okay. Go. That's all you need. So now when you go through and watch this, I want you to pick it apart. And what Jason was saying too earlier, there's no reason why you can't take each individual piece and drill it.
Yeah.
So from here, you could just do, go back. Right? Then you could do the step strike. So
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't matter if you use left or right hand, I don't think you said it matters.
but you're stepping forward.
Yes. So start on one of those, because when you step forward, you can step 45 back.
But we're punching towards the.
Mhm. Right? So from here, go. Go.
Oh,
That's too loud, with 45.
gotta straighten this.
And when you do that, make sure it's a good front stance. Step
So
this way. A little bit too much back, there. Now, look at your feet, you're in a front stance facing that way. Facing that way. Where's your weight distribution? No, that's your back, in this orientation.
Oh.
Which way are you facing? Yes,
Oh.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and then your back foot, turn your toes forward. Yes. Boom. Mm-hmm, reset. Let's go through it one more time. Elbow, step 45, strike, fix your back foot. Good. Kick, reset. Show me a kick chamber.
Oh, chamber.
Yes, yes, yes. Good. So you see how much detail is in just that little drill?
Yeah, there really is.
So, look, let's do that again, now that I have you facing the right direction.
You need my fingerprint. Is it on still?
Yes, it is. So you're going to be facing me, no, go ahead and face me. And your hands, yeah, that's the direction your state is. But when you go to that punch, you gotta be in a good front stance.
So,
Uh-huh. And then your kick, reset. Good. So do your block check to your right side. That's how you're gonna start. And go. Start again. Okay. Now, when you watch this video, I want
Can't
you,
wait.
I don't want you to, critique yourself and look at your
Well-
feet, your,
I'll tell you this much, I already know that, as I'm learning emotions and stuff, I already know like upper body, back's not straight, all of that stuff. 'cause
but
I
we're in the
do
process of connecting all of
But
that
I
stuff.
haven't, I'm gonna implement those things as I learn emotions and then.
I have all the faith in the world that you will, because you're one of those type of people, you would be the 1 out of the 10,000. And you know why? For no other reason.
Oh,
You have the persistence
Yeah.
to stay and do it.
the fact that I found a place that teaches C-LOT close to me is pretty much a miracle in my mind.
I would agree with you.
Like, I thought I would have to like save up and move to Malaysia or move to Thailand or move to Indonesia.
The beauty of all of this is that Daniel, Jake, Jason, all of our local teachers were in Indonesia for a month.
I know, and that's.
I was talking to Jason when we got back. He's gonna be feeding me information which will be disseminated to you guys.
That's Paul.
He was in Indonesia.
Yeah,
The last I saw, he was in Bali. He's like,
he's just, that's what I want to be doing. Like,
dude, he's having a really good time, I can tell you that. Do you have any questions on anything?
No, I think that was really important.
So,
That's a lot of good homework to take home.
Uh-huh.
A lot of good stagnation, like not stagnation.
Static.
Static exercises. I think just the repetition too is going to help with like evening out the two sides. So
I would
just
agree.
begin doing that
I do that all the time.
because I'd like to be efficient on both sides. Because in a real situation, like if you're turning, someone's attacking, like, and my left side's super like, nah.
Well, think about this too. How many people in this country are left-handed? Meaning, if somebody attacks you this way instead of this way,
A lot
you're
of
like,
people are
well, wait, nobody in the dojo's
Yeah.
left-handed, so you can't hit me with your left hand.
3 out of the 5 that I work are left-handed.
So it's really important for you to get comfortable. And
Because
just being able to flow evenly.
If someone attacked me from that angle, I'm not as efficient and my brain isn't connecting as fast as it would like, with that. So it's definitely a repetition thing for me. Repetition is everything for me though. I mean,
It's
ideally,
for everybody. I mean, really think about it. You're in the memorization phase.
Mhm.
Repetition is probably one of the most, and doing it correctly,
yeah,
are
that's,
2 of the most important things that you do right now.
yeah.
Once you build that foundational base and you have all of the motion, then you can start tweaking things to, put a little bit more speed in it, or a little bit more power, or
Just,
a little bit even more weight,
yeah.
you know?
That when I start, I like camped yet, but when I start doing that on uneven ground, like you said, and like while checking the trees, I mean, that
Think about, are there gonna be lakes nearby?
probably, yeah, at some point.
Do your form in waste water.
Yeah, I was thinking of like a shallow river where the current is coming against
Absolutely.
you. And
Absolutely.
like, because I went to Puerto Rico last summer and just standing out in the ocean with the waves crashing against me, I was doing pretty much horse stance. And I was just trying to keep I just did that every morning because I was right on the beach. Went out to the waves and just, tried to maintain my.
I did something similar in a pool, in regards, not the waves per se, but I was trying to do my Tai Chi
Yeah,
in a
it's
pool.
hard.
My water form and water, you know? And it was not easy because I was in chest deep water, and every time I would pick up my foot to transition, I would just.
Well, you know, like in Eastern philosophy, part of it talks about how we're all four elements.
Mhm.
But one of them's more dominant than others. Water is my weakness. Like I'm mostly fire, I would say. I've got earth and wind is pretty strong, but water is like my weakest thing. It's the element that I'm the most resistant to.
Same, for me, water is like.
I can tell. It's weird because I base like people that I know. I can just tell, like, you know, a lot of times just the element.
Mhm.
Like Sarah is totally. We talk about. I don't know if you've ever seen Avatar. It's a show, but like
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, the last Airbender.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
They do. It's all the elements. So there's
Yeah.
firebenders, waterbenders, oceanbenders, and airbenders. So Sarah and I have both seen this. We talk about, you know, she's like, you're totally a waterbender,
Okay,
especially with the Kinpo.
so, with that being said, snooze. For my black belt test, I had to write a file with either a newspaper or a model,
Oh my god.
and I have a video. Which camera? So that was with my phone. The reason is you're not stopping at the file. You're going through the file.
That's like the energy. That's like the energy.
So also free. This is with a roll of newspaper. And I have been doing breathing exercises for quite a while to get this there. Because breathing is really important.
It's not build up the energy.
It does.
Is that what you're doing there?
I'm trying to make sure that I'm placing the paper on a nice little piece. And you saw some pieces like, oh shit, it actually worked. And then this I did at my house. I used the Coke bottle.
But then you're strengthening the structure of it.
In this case, you have to kind of protect and break at the same time. And I'm not as good at protecting as I am breaking. So now my next journey is to learn how to protect.
What's the, is that like more of the healing side then?
No, I would consider that internal. Healing is a little bit different.
What's the?
That doesn't mean you don't use like energy. And I've been starting Reiki training,
Yeah,
and so you use universal energy,
yeah.
not your own, and I can't like go, oh, like an airbender, I'm gonna send energy.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't
No,
do that.
It's not like
You
that.
just become, I don't wanna say a conduit, but you open a door.
Well, that's where you're not expending your own energy. because
Correct.
You're
Using-
channeling the universal, the abundance flow, as I like to call it. That's
Yes.
constantly there. You're
And
not,
so,
and
if
it's coming through you. You're
Right.
not
not your own.
Yeah.
And you're trying to allow that flow to go into whoever you're trying to help. And I can't say, well, she's got a punky knee, so let's just work on the knee. Energy will go where the energy goes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's up to the.
It's like if you shoot an arrow, boom, can you guide it after you shoot it?
Not really.
No.
And so many things get affected too, when,
So I'm still early in that phase of my training.
that's a
But
lot like.
that's just another avenue available to you.
Yeah, I
And
resonate with the energy, I mean, just because of my life experiences.
Exactly.
Studying with like masters from the East and stuff like
you already
that.
have that mindset ingrained in you. You've already experienced some of those internal pieces. And you have a better grasp of it, I would think, than most people, because you've experienced it already.
That's just my avenue, like that's just my initial or my natural state of being, that's just how I am.
Well, and that's great.
I'm very, like,
Because to me, you know, when you open your mind to things that may be a little bit, what's the term? Hard to describe. You can't necessarily taste it, touch it, feel it, you know, but it's there. It's like trying to explain air to somebody who doesn't know anything about science.
So and that's what I've come to find too. I think when I was younger, I like knew these things instinctively, just the energetic side of life. And I will say that it's like I told you in Camden that one day. It's like I feel like I'm a spirit learning to be a body, where a lot of people are sort of that opposite.